This video was made possible thanks to our grand, beautiful, and generous patrons. You guys are truly awesome. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of For the Love of Commander presented by Affinity for Commander. My name is Alex and today we're going to be finishing off our analysis of the new legendary creatures from Theros Beyond Death. If you want to see my thoughts on the mono-coloured legends, then click the link in the top right corner now. And remember, just like last time, all legends will be sorted into 3 categories: Commander, the 99, or Garbage. Ready? Then let's get to it. In no particular order, we'll start with Atris, Oracle of Half-Truths. Atris is a 3/2 legendary human advisor with Menace for 2 generic mana, 1 blue and 1 black. He reads: when Atris, Oracle of Half-Truths enters the battlefield, a target opponent looks at the top 3 cards of your library and separates them into a face-down pile and a face-up pile. Put one pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. In the last few sets, we've had many attempts to try and give us a fairer and more balanced version of fact or fiction. We've had Sphinx or Fiction with Unesh, we've had scalable fact or fiction with Epiphany of the Drownyard, and yes, I forgot that card existed too. And we've just had plain bad facts or fiction with Fortune's Favour. Now we have the fact or fiction for that one person that likes to spontaneously play Guess My Bluff in the middle of a Commander game. I can see this card working well in a deck like Yarok the Desecrated, as getting double Atris triggers means we can go 6 cards deep and potentially draw 4 cards. Not bad. Or perhaps he'd fit into a deck like Muldrotha of the Gravetide, where it doesn't really matter that the cards you don't pick up put into your graveyard, because your grave is also your hand. So, in conclusion, not a terrible card for the 99 or some specific decks. Moving along. Polukranos Unchained is a legendary creature zombie hydra for 2 generic mana, 1 black and 1 green. He reads: Polukranos enters the battlefield with 6 +1/+1 counters on it. It escapes with 12 +1/+1 counters on it instead. And, if damage would be dealt to Polukranos while it has a +1/+1 counter on it, prevent that damage and remove that many +1/+1 counters from it. Polukranos can also fight another creature for 1 generic mana, 1 black and 1 green. Oh, and it has escape for 4 generic mana, 1 black, 1 green, requiring you to exile 6 other cards from your graveyard to put it back onto the battlefield. Wow, that's a lot of text. So, in summary, you get a 4 mana 6/6 with a fight ability, which isn't too bad I suppose. And if we have ways of putting counters back onto the Hydra with cards like Forgotten Ancient or Mazarek Kral Death Priest, then we have a continuous fighting machine on our hands. This ability then goes into overdrive when Polukranos escapes, essentially becoming a 12/12 for 6 mana, who still does not have trample. Time isn't kind to any of us, I suppose. But even with that smashing of the vanilla test, I still said this Undead Hydra would be better in a Gave Guru Spores deck or anything with Rayhan Last of the Abzan, provided you have a way to sacrifice him rather than the counters being taken off due to his trigger, as otherwise Rayhan himself won't trigger. Just something to consider. So definitely better in the 99. Gallia of the Endless Dance is an enchantment creature Satya. She is a 2/2 for 1 red and 1 green mana. She has haste and reads: other Satyas you control get +1/+1 and have haste. And whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may discard a card at random. If you do, draw 2 cards. Oh, wizards, why must you torment me with a single word random? No one, besides maybe Felden, likes discarding randomly. It's not good. A legendary lord, meanwhile, that not only gives a buff, but haste as well for 2 mana? That's very strong. Currently, however, there are 26 Satya creatures that can go into a Gruul Satya tribal deck, where none of them have any synergy with each other. There are no cards that say, whenever a Satya enters the battlefield, do X. And as a red-green aggro commander, just for the second part of the text? Yeah, no, there are far better Gruul commanders for an angry EDH player. So until Wizards of the Coast provides some serious Satya support, this card is garbage. Our next legend comes to us straight from the set of Wonder Woman 2. Siona, Captain of the Pleias, a 2/2 legendary creature human soldier for 1 generic, 1 white and 1 green. She reads, when Siona, Captain of the Pleias enters the battlefield, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal an aura card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a creature you control, create a 1/1 human soldier creature token. So Selesnya has finally gotten their aura commander for all the 4 people asking for one. But putting my cynicism aside, her first ability is an excellent way of searching for auras you need to trigger that second ability. Aura decks do tend to run into 2 problems after all. Number 1 being the inevitable 2-for-1 when an opponent kills your aura'd up creature and you're left with nothing after using several cards to make one big creature. And then 2, finding the right balance between auras and creatures to stick them onto. Too many auras you're open to attack, and too few and your Voltron dreams will never come true. Siona seems designed to help both of these problems, providing a good card advantage effect with her ETB that can be abused through flicker effects, and then the dudes she provides help to make up for a lack of creatures in our deck. She also has a lovely combo with Shielded by Faith, as when you enchant her with the aura you create a 1/1, which you can then move the aura across to, creating another 1/1, which you can then move the aura over to, creating another, and you get the idea. Give these creatures haste with something like Concordant Crossroads, or, for the more economically minded, Crashing Drawbridge, and you have a quick path to victory. Or depending on how spicy you want to be, you could simply create your army in your opponent's end step by flashing in the aura with Sagada's aid. Your choice really. So if you can't tell by now, I am putting Siona firmly in the commander category. Moving on to our goodest boy commander, Kunaros, Hound of Athreos. This legendary hound is a 3/3 with Vigilance, Lifelink and Menace for 1 generic mana, 1 black and 1 white. He reads, creature cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield, and players can't cast spells from their graveyard. Now, beyond having keywords to rival Atraxa, this little pupper is quite clearly designed to hate on graveyards. He was probably designed to help stem any overly powerful escape decks in Standard, but let's not talk about inferior formats. What do we think about him for commander? Well, as a commander, no. He's a good card. Yes, you are. You are a good card. Yes, you are. But not really strong enough to head a deck. But in a hate bear deck like Kambal, Console of Allocation, or a Staxi Athreos deck, then I think he can shine as a commander to punish any Merrin or Muldrotha deck. So definitely in the 99. Our next creature is an Izzet-coloured legend from Theros, who is not Keranos for some reason. I mean, he's referenced in the card text in this set, just what? Calm down, Alex. It's fine. It's fine. Kalikos, Crafter of Wonders, is a 2/4 legendary creature Merfolk Artificer for 1 generic, 1 blue and 1 red. He reads, tap, add Colorless, spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. And equipped creatures you control have flying and haste. So we've got a Merfolk geared towards artifacts with a ramp ability, but then we take a sharp left turn with the second portion of his text talking about equipment. Brea is visibly confused, but still wants him in her 99. And honestly, I'm inclined to agree with her. Kalikos being an Izzet does set him up with some lovely combos. After all, he can have Urza Lord High Artificer in his 99. What more do you need to know? But personally, I think he'd still be better in the 99 of a Brea deck for the ramp, or in an Akri Silas Ren partner commander deck. Nothing personal, my fishy friend. Haktos the Unscarred is our only come on, Alex, you can do this. Our only Boros commander on the list. For 2 red and 2 white mana, Haktos is a 6/1 human warrior who reads, Haktos the Unscarred attacks each combative able, and as Hacktoves enter the battlefield, choose 2, 3 or 4 at random. Hacktoves has protection from each converted mana cost other than the one chosen number. Well, this is certainly, what's the word? Unique? Honestly, I don't even know where to start. On the face of it, having a creature that's protection from everything apart from one specific CMC is incredibly strong. However, the randomness of it makes me terribly cautious to put it in a deck. Let's say he's Voltron, and you've got a handful of lovely swords for him. Then, whoops, he has protection from CMC 3 spells. So if you did want to make Mr. McRandom, then perhaps a 1 CMC pump spell deck could do the trick. Something akin to a feathered deck style, with cards like Titan's Strength and God's Willing. But yes, personal feelings aside, because I do really like this Achilles in Magic card form, but no, too random for my taste. Into the garbage. Our first Simic legendary is Utopia, the twice favoured. A legendary human wizard for 1 generic, 1 blue and 1 green. She is a 2/2, has Constellation and reads, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains flying until the end of turn. So you're not an enchantress and the counters are kind of meh. If this card could have ever found a home, it would be in a Tuvasa the Sunlit deck. Simply for the +1/+1 counters to increase her power and the flying to give our merfolk some evasion. Otherwise, really not suited for other enchantress decks. But do you get into the 99 category if you're only in the 99 of one specific deck? No, you don't. Garbage. And finally, we arrive at the big boys. Our first god is Theros Shroud-Veiled. Theros is a 4/7 legendary enchantment creature god for 4 generic mana, 1 black and 1 white. They are indestructible and read, as long as your devotion to white and black is less than 7, Theros isn't a creature. And, at the beginning of your end step, put a coin counter on another target creature. And, whenever a creature with a coin counter on it dies or is put into exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control. Okay, I'm doing this one in reverse order. Firstly, Commander. And here's why. Because Theros can lead one of my favourite styles of decks, and I love Wizards of the Coast finally making Commander seemingly dedicated to it. And that theme is, my win conditions are your win conditions. Or to put it even simpler than that, just stealing stuff. All you need in this deck is Theros and a load of removal spells. Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares, Murder, everything you've got, Theros wants. As when a creature with a coin counter on it dies, it becomes yours forever. But we can also toss a coin to our own creatures as well, and now that song is stuck in my head for another 2 weeks. Fantastic. But by putting the counter on our creatures when they die, we can essentially get double triggers from any ETB effects. This includes any creatures with kill effects on them, such as Ravenous Chupacabra, Noxious Gearhulk, and Big Game Hunter. Or we can just have Grey Merchant of Asphodel re-enter the battlefield over and over again. Yep, this card, definitely Commander. And our final god from Theros is... wait a second. Final god? What about Keranos, Ephara, Crewfix? Other gods that don't contain blue? Seriously, you only give us 2 multicoloured gods, wizards? I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Right. Our only other 2-coloured god is Clothis, God of Destiny. A legendary enchantment god for 1 generic, 1 red and 1 green. She is a 4/5 with indestructible and reads, as long as your devotion to red and green is less than 7, Clothis isn't a creature. And at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a land card, add red or green to your mana pool. Otherwise, you gain 2 life and Clothis deals 2 damage to each opponent. So we've got a cheap commander in Gruul that can function as Graveyard Hate, Ramp, and a damage over time effect. Nice. Clothes presents a bit of a problem for me as she is a strong card, and if you want extra mana every turn to help get ahead in any gruel value deck, then there are certainly worse options. Or if you wanted just to act as a utility card in any deck containing red-green, that works too. But personally, I'm going with Commander, simply because if you draw Clothes late in the game, beyond the shock each opponent gets, she may not have a massive valuable impact. However, playing her every game on turn 3 can put you ahead, and get you more and more shock triggers. And that effect can really help out over the course of a game. Moving on to our first Titan, we have Croaks, Titan of Death's Hunger. He is a 6/6 legendary Elder Giant for 1 red and 1 black. He reads, when Croaks enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. And whenever Croaks enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card. Then, each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. And he has escape for 2 black and 2 red mana, and exiling 5 other cards from your graveyard. So, on first cast from the command zone, each opponent discards a card, and if they don't feel like discarding a non-land card, they get bolted. So if we're looking at this card as a commander, then Croaks needs to take advantage of our opponents discarding things. Waste Not, Megrim, or Leon's Caress will all do just that. And if we combine this with Red's great number of discard draw effects, then we'll have plenty of cards to exile to have Croaks escape again and again, getting more sweet triggers. But for the 99, I can perhaps see Croaks in a Chainer deck or Nekazar, because Nekazar needed to be more disgusting, with a massive creature that will realistically never cost more than 4 mana. Overall, I'm going with Croaks being a solid discard themed commander, and I hope to never see it across the table from me. And onto our final legend of this set, we have Burro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. He is a legendary 6/6 Elder Giant for 1 generic, 1 green and 1 blue mana. He reads, when Burro enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. And whenever Burro enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Then you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. And he also has escape for 2 green and 2 blue mana, and exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. So Burro is Growth Spiral with life gain and a 6/6 body after escaping. Ah, power creep, how we love you. Burro is a seriously powerful card with the ability to ramp and gain life and draw cards. What's not to love? I would honestly be tempted to put him in a lot of my blue-green decks simply for the value he provides. He also infinitely combos very well. Simply create infinite coloured mana with your preferred method, i.e. Food Chain and Eternal Scourge. Then you replay Burro again and again, drawing your entire deck and placing all of your lands onto the battlefield. During this, you will at some point be casting Lab Maniac or Jace Wielder of Mysteries, and then draw the rest of your deck to win the game. But even if you don't fancy going down the more CDH route with Burro, he is still a fantastically powerful card that I look forward to seeing him play, just in someone else's game. So we will be definitely putting him in our commander slot. And that is it for our video, rounding off the last of the Theros legends. And now I want to know what you guys think of our potential new commanders. Who is your favourite and why? Do you disagree with any of my allocations? Whatever your thoughts, please leave them in the comments below. As always, be sure to like and subscribe for more Commander content, and if you really like us, you could consider supporting us on Patreon, or following us on Twitter @4Commander. Links are in the description, and as always, we will see you next time.